Hey, Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to Yaki and pushing his word and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. This is Amathi from the GMS Dallas camp. Want to go into a quick lesson. Lord willing, this will be edifying to the elect of Israel. And when I say the elect of Israel, Israel is you so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans, and we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So this word resonates with you in the spirit, and you have of another nation, you could be the nation of Israel, because we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth among these other nations as well. I want to go into this lesson. This is going into how, let me see if I can setting up for that, the 501 to the C to the 3. All right. And you see where it says it controls your church. And this is going to also how letting you know firsthand how your so-called black leaders, are leading you to a blind eye and a path to destruction, because they are organized and everything is arranged by who? Esau, Edom. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, and we're going to get a few scriptures. Lord willing, this will be edifying here. All right.
How does President Obama get to 270 electoral votes? Well, his clearly strongest voter group is African Americans, and hundreds of preachers and other religious leaders are going to get a pep talk of sorts from members of the Congressional Black Caucus on how to combat the recent rise in voter ID laws.
And you see, it was 11 years ago, so this was actually the time during Obama in his presidential stature, president of America. So we're going to go ahead and keep going.
I'm joined now by the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, Democrat from Missouri, who is also an ordained minister. Congressman, it's good to see you. Good morning.
Good to be with you.
So you've got this big summit tomorrow. Essentially, what is your message to several hundred clergy members, I understand, who will be there?
Yes, we'll have representatives from 9 denominations who actually pastor somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10 million people. And we're going to, first of all, equip them with the information they need to know about what they can say and what they cannot say in the church that would violate their 501c3 status with the IRS. In fact, we're going to have the IRS administrator there. We're going to have the Attorney General, Eric Holder, there. We're going to have the lawyers organization from around the country, the ACLU, all giving ministers guidance on what they can and cannot do.
You hear that? So when you have your pastors and preachers that's out there in the pulpit and they're preaching to keep their 501c3, they have to go by a lot of rules and laws and regulations. By who? They have to go by Esau Edom rules. I say you have the Attorney General there. All these major law, the ones that set the rules and laws. Now, actually, before we play it again, I want to get what is a law. We know what it is, but let's just go ahead and just read the definition. All right, it's a law, the system of rules. Because, like I said, they got to break down and give these pastors and everything. It ain't gonna be just no everyday ordinary pastor. It's gonna be your Creflos and your T. Jakes and all that. They the ones that have that big congregation. All right, the ones that got that mind that controls the mind of not just hundreds of, probably not even more, probably thousands, but one that touch millions of people. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds of thousands. So these are the like I said, the pastors and what they're getting their hands on to say this is what you got to go by. All right. Someone that's in Mississippi got 50 people in their congregation. Hell with them. They still gotta go by these rules that we see. We still gonna run rank on them. That's what they're gonna say. But we want to get the ones that's gonna rule over you with and control, and they're gonna hear you. You're on TV, you're gonna see big old mega church, and you're gonna see all these people that's gonna be listening. A lot of you, Jake, because you just said the the Black Caucus or what have you. Let's go. It's a law. The system of rules which a particular country or community recognizes as regulating the actions of its members, and which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties. All right. So it says they were taken to court for breaking the law. So they have certain things they will get penalized for if they say. So that's why when we're on the highways and byways, we can come out and bring out these certain things. You have certain Israelite camps that have written and signed this 501c3, so they can only bring out so many things. They got to be considered. They to get it, they have to put themselves down, not as Hebrew Israelite, but as Muslim, Islam. So this is the rules that Esau is giving you. This, let's go. Let's go to Job 9:24. This is Job 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So these laws are coming from the God of this world, who have plagued the mind of the people of the world. All right. Which is Esau Edom, aka the so-called white man. So he's telling the ones in the Black Caucus, right? He's telling the ones in the Black Caucus, presenting the rules and regulation to these people in the Black Caucus. Now, what is the Black Caucus here? All right, the Black Caucus, and I put in about the CBC, the Congregational Black Caucus. It says, since its establishment in 1971, the Congressional Black Caucus, the CBC, has been committed to using the full constitutional power, statutory authority, and financial resource of the federal government. Because one of the things that financial resources is what? That 501 to the C to the 3. That they have certain regulations and certain things they can say and cannot say to receive these financial resources, all right, of the federal government, to ensure that African Americans and other marginalized communities in the United States have the opportunity to achieve the American dream. It's the American way. The caucus is chaired by Congressman Stephen Hansford. As part of the commitment the CBC has fought for the past 50 years to empower these citizens and address their legislative concerns by pursuing a policy agenda that includes but is not limited to the following. All right, so then they give you these things, right? Reforming the criminal justice and eliminating barriers to reentry, combating voter suppression, they keep going on and on. Hey, and basically we're supposed to be freedom of speech, but they give you rules, laws, and regulation on what to say, and you got to go by it. All right. So let's go back over here again and listen here.
Clearly, strongest voter group is African Americans, and hundreds of preachers and other religious leaders are going to get a pep talk of sorts from members of the Congressional Black Caucus on how to combat the recent rise in voter ID laws. I'm joined now by the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, Democrat from Missouri, who is also an ordained minister. Congressman, it's good to see you. Good morning.
Good to be with you.
So you've got this big summit tomorrow. Essentially, what is your message to several hundred clergy members, I understand, who will be there?
Yes, we'll have representatives from 9 denominations who actually pastor somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10 million people. And we're going to, first of all, equip them with the information they need to know about what they can say and what they cannot say.
Equip them on what they can say and cannot say. They're ones that have, basically members of what? Going up to about 10 million people. And they got to go by the laws and the regulations of Esau. So how is that going to benefit you Jake? Jake is short for Jacob. All right. Like I say, we're going with the whole nation of Israel because the southern kingdom, like I say, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But just as a whole, how is this going to benefit you when they have to go by the rules and laws and regulations of Esau Edom? This is Daniel 8 and verse 25. It says, and through his policy also he shall call craft to prosper in his hand. So this is a crafty way to make it seem like you can go to church and your pastor is going to be speaking to you and giving you so much of this, so much of the scriptures, but he's limited to give you, he can give you so much of the scriptures. He's limited of breaking all of the scripture down for you. He don't know it anyway. All right. So they're straying you away. We'll get that woe to the pastors as well, because they're causing our people, so-called Black, Latinos, Native Americans, to go astray. But it's the blind leading the blind. That's what it is. All right. It says, and through his policy, he shall cause crowds. And who is he? So-called white man, Esau Edom. It's his word. We just read Job 9 and 24. He shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. He's magnifying himself in his heart. One thing, he's using these puppet preachers to magnify his policies on what he wants you to learn, what he wants you to know. He still provided you the slave doctrine or the slave Bible through his preachers that he's basically giving these instructions to. Starting, like I say, that they have these meetings, all right, with the Congressional Black Caucus and these men that's supposed to be the heads of the community. And he's using that to magnify himself through them. It's an extension. It's just like what they call it, a pyramid scheme. Esau's, his system is set for a pyramid scheme. All right. And it says he shall, and by peace he shall destroy many. He also shall stand up against the prince of princes, and he shall be broken without hands. All right, so he is destroying, like you just said, 10 million people they're working on not receiving the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's why the Lord had to come break us free from the grasp that Esau had for us. All right, Micah 2 and 10, come up out of her, my people, for this is not your rest. We understand that this is not our rest on this side. But see, he got these pastors to smooth everything out to keep you in that docile, that old blind state of mind. Jeremiah 23 verse 1, it say, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pastors, said Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right. So it says, woe unto these pastors, destruction unto them. Right. I'm going to read that in the NLT. It says, what sorrow awaits the leaders of my people? And who is the people? Who is the Lord's people? The Israelites, you so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. It says, the shepherds of my sheep, for they have destroyed and scattered the very ones they were expected to care for, says Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They were supposed to be coming and caring for you, but they destroying you because they're not giving you all the knowledge, all the wisdom. And the Lord said you don't supposed to hold back the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You're supposed to give everything, give it all. He told Ezekiel in Ezekiel 3 to take the whole scroll and eat it. And he went out, and we supposed to receive this whole thing, go and preach and give everything we know about this wisdom, this knowledge that we have to give to who? The congregation, to the nation of Israel. Whether they hear or forbear, we're supposed to give it to them. We don't supposed to hold anything back. This is Revelations 22, verse 18. It says, for I testify to every man that hears the words of the prophecy of this book, of the Bible, this book, not The Book of the Dead for the Egyptians, you know what I'm saying? All right, not the Mormon book, not all these other books of this book. All right, not the Quran, this book, the Bible. It says, if any man shall add unto these things, Yahweh Shem Shah shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. You're not supposed to be adding, you're supposed to stick to the script. Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. And we're supposed to give the 100% truth and the proper breakdown. All right. Verse 19, and if any man shall take away the words of the book of this prophecy, and taken away, one thing, if you know something, you don't want to give it to the congregation, to the people. And that's one thing they're doing with these laws and regulations that they're giving out to them. And when they sign these 501s to the C to the 3, they're basically limiting them on giving them certain things out the Bible of this book. They're limiting them. So they're basically taking away. All right. It says, how about Shem Shah shall take away his part of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in his book. All right. For he testifieth these things, says, surely I come quickly, Aman, even so come Yahweh Shah Mashiach. The Lord Yahweh Shah. All right. So our Lord is coming, and our people are still blinded by what? These pastors. And the Lord said, woe to these pastors. Now listen.
In the neighborhood of about 10 million people. And we're going to, first of all, equip them with the information they need to know about what they can say and what they cannot say in the church that would violate their 501c3 status with the IRS. In fact,
they have to say it and keep it to that standard. All right. They are, when you sign the part of that 501c3, you're setting up to sign with and coincide with that. You're basically ingraining yourself with the system. What system is that? The beast system that you read about in Revelations 13 and 15, where it says that he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. All right. And that was to do what? Set up for what? The NWO. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that mark in their right hand on their foreheads. This is the system that you're integrating with when you sign these things. Because they saying you can say this, but don't do this. We want them to follow the rules and regulations that's going to be to bring them closer and integrating with the beast system without no struggle. So y'all keep plaguing their minds with this BS and not giving them what they need to know. And this is what's going to happen. We're going to integrate them with their system, all right? Because they know Jake. What Romans 10 and 2. Jake got their zeal, but not according to knowledge. All right? Jake got their zeal, but not according to knowledge.
We're going to have the IRS administrator there. We're going to have the Attorney General, Eric Holder, there. We're going to have the lawyers organization from around the country, the ACLU, all giving ministers guidance on what they can and cannot do.
You see that?
How does
What they can and cannot do. Right? Let me go over here again. This is and these are a lot of the men that, these are the elite of the black leaders, the Boule, all right, which it says Sigma Psi Phi. It says Sigma Psi Phi was also known as the Boule, founded in 1904, is the oldest fraternity for African Americans among those named with Greek letters. Now, why are you following these the Grecians? All right, these are the same ones, and we'll get it going to Egypt for help. They have basically integrated themselves with their oppressor. The fraternity does not have collegiate chapters and is designed for professionals at mid-career and older. Sigma Psi Phi was founded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And what did it look like? The Griffin. So like ancient Babylon. All right. This is the modern day Babylonian. You have your certain guys like Martin Luther the King. You have, you know, your what's the shit Shaq. Your damn Steve Harvey's and a lot of other ones. Like you say, the people that you wouldn't even know of because they like high ranking professionals. Your certain doctors and so-called black doctors and all these things, lawyers, all these that they're into this, right? Let me just notable members. D.W.E.D. Du Bois. Look at that. One of the first ones. Martin Luther the King Jr. You know, but you can kind of look through this, but that is like some notable ones, right? So these are the ones that went to Egypt and they went for help and they using you. You basically are going to them for help, and that's just like going down to Egypt for help because they're sending you up for the rules and regulation that Esau has given them to present to you. They can only give you so much. But like I said, when you come out to the highways and byways that we're preaching and we're going over the scriptures, that's why people don't want to hear that. They want to hear the smooth things that Esau is basically allowing these pastors to give to you, to keep you in that dumb state of mind. All right? Keep you in that gross darkness. This is Isaiah 61. This is get about one more. We'll be heading out. This is Isaiah 30 or 31. Yeah, come on. It says Isaiah 30 and 2. It says, what did 31 say? Let's bring this one out. This says Isaiah 31 and 1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. All right. Isaiah 30 and 2, it says, they walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves. And that's Jake. You know, they don't ask the Lord, you know what I'm saying? When they in some squalor, some bad, down bad, they be like, oh, Lord, help me. But when they going through a path and they paying this money to these pulpit preachers and all this and that, and they have enough to pay the bills and get ready to go to work the next week and still broke, but they still want to just constantly go to work. They think this is living. They don't have to ask the Lord for something. You're supposed to ask the Lord for you know what I'm saying, constantly praying and asking the Lord to deliver you from this oppression, you know what I'm saying, to give you guidance. All right, from day to day, pray without ceasing. It says, therefore, Salaki, go back up. It says, back in verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked in my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So, hey, our people trust in the shadow of Egypt. All right. And this is what's going to lead to their destruction. They're going to fall and just basically go right into the beast system and be integrated with it. All right. So, with that, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Wahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Yah in pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.